Yes, it's a beautiful day. Hey, welcome to the show, good people. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for joining us every day. If you can't watch the show live today, make sure you share this link out with folks and you yourself tune in. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, like, hit that bell so you can get notified. We're at 1 o'clock every Wednesday. This is your midday motivation Wednesdays at 1. We thank you for tuning in. Make sure you share this out. Joining me today, as always, is my co-host and good friend, Mr. Rob Howe. Say hello to the good people.
What's up, man? Always a good time to be on the air.
Yeah.
Be on the air, man. Be in the airwaves, on the frequencies, sharing information with people. Help people do things, think better, live better. Man, so it's all about better. I mean, even if you can get 1% better every day. And so I tell my son too. We got the 1% model. Just get 1% better every day. Don't try to change the world overnight. 1% better every day. And the accumulation of a whole year. How many percents is that?
Yeah, you done grew 3 times. You done grew 100% 3 times over. Totally different person. Yeah.
So that's how we're doing it, man.
That's how we do it, man. Think about that in terms of losing a pound, right? If you could lose a pound every week, you lost 52 pounds in a year.
Yeah.
1 pound a week. People try to lose 20 pounds in a month. Just take it easy on yourself.
Take it easy.
Go slow.
Slow down.
Well, folks, today we got a great show. Today's title is it the perfect partnership or the perfect storm? Me, myself, and I. Today we're going to dig deep into who we are, what we do, the challenges that we face, and trying to bring harmony and synergy between me, myself, and I. Those different personalities and desires that's within us, and those different traits that we have to sometimes battle with. Your mind wants to do something, your emotions want to do something else. How do we bring a holistic look at that and bring us into a oneness with ourselves?
Yeah.
So make sure that you guys share that link out, and we're going to get started here. And before the show, me and Rob were talking, and man, this is a great topic, I think, because so many people are dealing with their own kind of struggles, in and without. And right now our show is all about that mindset, ready, grow, helping you shift your mind to get set, to get ready to grow. And shout out to the LinkedIn user. Thank you for that post. And to all the folks that's watching, listen, we want to make sure that you guys have an opportunity to, while that's coming up, post your comments in this section here. We're going to be doing some exercises later. I guarantee you're not going to want to miss that. And you're going to want to make sure that you got all your friends and family tuned in for those exercises later. They are going to be life-changing and impacting. But post your comments over here. We can share those with the group, and any questions you might have or any feedback that you might want us to respond to. But let's go ahead and jump right in. So before the show, we were talking, and one thing that we talked about mostly was, how do we bring that wholeness, right? Today's show, me, myself, and I, the perfect partnership or the perfect storm. How do we bring that wholeness to ourselves? And I think the very first step is, first of all, you need to become aware of yourself. Who are you? So self-awareness. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, that is step number one, because if you don't know who you are, then, you don't know what's going on. Hello. You got to start with the self, because if not, then you'll be attracted to every external thing, be distracted by every external thing. And self-awareness is really the beginning of, self-actualization. That's becoming all of yourself.
Yeah.
Beginning of self-actualization is becoming aware that this is a thing. This is a thing. Self-awareness is recognizing, okay. And so now, how do we do that? We can slow down. It's the first thing. Pump the brakes. Some of us, we're going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. Absolutely. He froze, but so, self-awareness, it begins the very first day you're coming out of your mother's womb. As a baby, you start to understand this is a different environment. And so, you got a fist in your mouth and you're chewing on your toes, and you're becoming aware that, hey, wait, I can feel me chewing on my foot. Your brain is catching those sensations. You're becoming aware of your arms and legs and so on and forth. So that's kind of at a baby level. But as we get older, we kind of take those things for granted. Our hands, our feet, and so on and forth. They're just there. They're automatic. Habit becomes automatic. We had that in a different episode. But what we want to do is become actually aware of the thoughts that we have in our mind and how they actually translate on the outside. So you ever done something and it hurt somebody's feelings or it went the totally wrong way, and you say, that was not my intention. I really was trying to help out. So we have to be aware of ourselves that, hey, wait a second, this could come off as being rude, insensitive, hurtful, or the product of this seed that I'm sowing might not be the sweet fruit that I'm looking for. It might be that rotten apple. So we have to become self-aware. And he was touching on that before he froze. Go ahead and speak on that a little bit more, brother.
Hey, what's up, Jackson? Good to see you,
Jackson,
brother.
welcome to the show, bro.
Yeah, well, so where did I freeze out at?
You said, you know, a lot of people are dealing with that internally, and then you kind of froze.
Well, again, the beginning of, self-actualization, self-awareness is the beginning of that. And so being able to understand who you are will then be able to help you get the roadmap to where you need to go. So that's the beginning of growth, self-actualization, the awareness, even in, I forget the 12-step, is it 12-step program? But programs like 12-step and then however many steps it is, and there's other programs very similar, but the beginning of all those programs is what?
Self-awareness. You take stuff. Yeah, you got to take a look. Sometimes they have you write down stuff. They make you do a list of things and pros and cons or goods and bads. What do you like about yourself? What do you hate? What do you love? And that's all to help you gain self-awareness of like, how do you see yourself? And some people see themselves as like, super attractive or something, and they're really not, or they think they're the smartest person on the planet and they're really the biggest goofball. They make a lot of bad decisions, right? But it's about being self-aware and say, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm not the most attractive. Maybe I'm not the smartest person. If we can start to acknowledge those things, then we can come into the next level, which is knowing yourself.
Yeah.
If you're not aware of yourself, how can you get to know yourself? If I never was aware that Rob House existed, I can never get to know him and foster that relationship as a friend and as a brother. So the first thing was awareness. Now we're going into knowing yourself. You want to speak a little bit about knowing yourself?
And look at this. And so you said that. Bridget said, morning, you need to love yourself.
You gotta love yourself.
Love yourself. Knowing yourself and loving yourself. Absolutely. So knowing yourself, way back, the Greeks had a phrase called know thyself. It was like a thing, like know thyself. That's it. And what that meant is know who you are. Know what you can do, know what you can't do. Know what you like, know what you don't like. If you don't know yourself, then you'll just kind of be doing everything. You'll be led by everything. You're not sure which way. You're like a leaf in the wind in a windy city. Not a good thing. Not a good thing. You don't want to be a leaf in the wind in a windy city. What you want to do is you want to actually, okay, if it's a windy city, you don't want to be a leaf. Okay, you want to be stationary. You want to be stabilized. You want to be rooted. And knowing yourself gives you those roots. Doesn't matter how much wind. That oak tree is not going anywhere, right? It's rooted down in there. And so when you know yourself, you're rooted in things. It allows you to root yourself, and you know what you stand for. You know your ethics, your morals. You're less likely to compromise when you know yourself.
Yeah. And knowing yourself, it has to have a foundation in truth. So what happens is this: you get awareness of yourself. You say, wait a second, maybe I have been offensive. I wasn't aware of that. But now that I'm aware of that, I can try to make some changes. Later down the line, you say, hey, I know myself kind of well in these situations. I can get a little feisty. So it's best for me to maybe do these things to curtail that. You're self-governing, you're self-controlling yourself. You're doing these things to manage how you can be. To give you a great example, my son, when he used to play video games, he gets so excited he would even start to jump up and down, and he could scream. He could play WrestleMania or something, and he would really get so into it. And we could be working and have to come out and say, son, you got to calm down. Eventually he became aware that he was doing that and it was disruptive. And now he finds other ways of channeling that energy so he doesn't get so outrageous or throw the controller or whatever when he loses rage quitting.
Yeah.
And so anyways,
that's
about
good.
Knowing yourself, you have to understand those situations. So knowing thyself is different from awareness. Awareness is just, I didn't know that I was behaving that way. But then knowing yourself is, why do I behave that way? Oh, because I feel this way. Oh, because this is my tendency. So here's how I'm going to curtail that. It's a whole structure of system. Knowing yourself, knowing how to relate to yourself, communicate to yourself, and govern yourself.
Yeah.
Now, since knowing yourself comes into the foundation of truth, you have to be honest with yourself. You got to say, you know what? I know that it's an issue for me if I get around certain situations. Say you had a struggle with alcoholism or drugs or something. You say, hey, I know that if I get in this party area, I'm going to be tempted to do that. So I have to make sure that I can go and do other things. I have to trust myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm honest with myself. So we go into the next phase of saying, now that I'm honest and truthful with myself, I can build trust within myself. Me, myself, and I, we can come together and trust. You want to speak more about trusting yourself?
Yeah, trusting yourself comes from consistent time building a relationship with yourself. Trusting yourself comes from a consistency of one and two, right? You do one and two long enough, then trust kind of organically is built because you're self-aware, right? And
Right.
if you do this consistently, what trusting yourself allows you to do is to be more confident in the decisions that you make. Confidence
Yes, in yourself.
in yourself. And confidence is literally the superpower. I mean, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, all the greatest athletes you could ever think of, all the greatest everything.
Yeah.
They got trust within themselves. The greatest writers, the greatest thinkers, they trust themselves. And so when you trust yourself, it becomes your superpower because now you can become more of you. Hello, wait, somebody, more of me? Hey, Lisa Nichols said, you want to become extraordinary? Well, extraordinary is just putting a little extra on your ordinary. Just be you and do a little extra. It's like, that's how you become
That's how you
extraordinary.
become extraordinary.
Okay.
A little
So
extra hot
trust
sauce on it.
yourself. Yeah, it's pretty dope,
Mhm.
right? So trust
Yeah.
yourself. Same thing. Trust yourself. And that builds the confidence. You do that a little bit more, you become this confident person.
You get that confidence. There's a story. I think it was in a, it's like a Bible story or something. In this guy, actually the same name as me, Joshua. He has to go off and he has to go fight this battle, and God tells him to go and be strong, be bold, and be very courageous. So he had to have the courage, he had to have the boldness, he had to have the confidence within himself to say, okay, you say I could do it, I could do it. I can do these things, right? And so think about that. How many times have you been in a situation where you're going and you say, I can't do this, I can't do it any longer, and you actually quit, and then you regret it the rest of your days? Like, man, I wish I would have tried to do harder. Maybe it was completing school or finishing out that last quarter of college, or
Yeah.
maybe staying on that job an extra month and then found out that they all got this big bump out or they got bought out and this money came. If you just would have stuck by it. I remember my wife when she was having our first little one, she's in the delivery room pushing, pushing. They say push. She says, I can't. She literally said, she said, I need you to push for me. And the nurse was like, what? I can't push for you. You better push. Like, that was so crazy. But she meant it. She was like, you need to do this for me. She said, I can't do it. But she pushed through. Literally, she pushed through. Our
That's
daughter
funny.
came out. She was born, and she ended up doing that 2 more times. So you never know what you could do, but you have to trust yourself that you're capable
Woo!
to do those
Good.
hard things that seem incapable to do.
That's
Trusting
good.
yourself, knowing your limits first comes from knowing yourself, and that comes first from being self-aware. And now you come on down to trusting yourself, trusting your abilities, and trusting yourself. Can even say, I trust myself to know that if I think I'm going to go here and do something wrong, I can trust that I am speaking to myself with intelligence and truth. So I don't want to go in that situation because it might turn into a fight or it might turn into me doing something wrong
Yeah,
against
yeah.
me or my family.
Yeah. For me, man, I was like when I was my, my wife before we got married and I was, coming out of, you know, not being married, right? It's like, okay, so certain places you go when you're not married, and there's certain places you don't go when you're married. And you can go to those places that you shouldn't be going. But see, trusting yourself is knowing yourself.
Yeah. If you know that you've outgrown that stuff fully, you've matured beyond that point, you know,
Then you make the best decision.
yeah. I actually I can tell a story about that too. I had a buddy who loved to gamble. When we were little, they did the dice games. They went all the way through to the casinos, and that's because sometimes they would actually hit for some good money, but the majority of times they would lose. Eventually, he got married and things, and then that started taking a toll on their life because they're saving for a house, a car, something. He loses it all in the game.
Ugh.
So what happened was he had to mature to a place where he understood, you know what, my family is more important than this excitement that I feel when I win. The excitement of my family being able to have that new car, that new house. And now, you can't get him to do anything like that. It's just not even in his core, in his makeup anymore.
Mm.
Used to be all he knew. Now he doesn't do it at all. He matured past that. And he trusts himself
Woo.
to say,
Good.
if I wanted to go there, I could. I can just watch a football game, not put a dollar on it because the values have changed, shifting
Mm-hmm.
our values. And this is going into our next topic, which is this: respecting yourself. So after you have self-awareness and you become knowledgeable of yourself, you learn to trust yourself, and then you start to apply these things to respect yourself. A lot of people don't respect themselves. What I mean by that is they'll subject themselves to things that they should never be a part of, for the benefit of other people, to maybe get attention from other people,
Yep.
or to get some sort of kudos or praise from other people, when it shouldn't be really about anything from outside. It should be what's inside. Do I took this time to become aware of myself, to know myself, and to trust myself. Why would I let myself down by letting somebody put me in a situation that I don't really want to be in, or do some things, or giving of myself in a way that's inappropriate, right? Respect yourself.
Yeah. You know, compromising is like compromise is kind of a lie. You know, it's like
Yeah.
they think of it that way. Compromise, kind of lie. You're kind of lying to yourself. You know, don't
It's gonna
compromise.
be okay, or
Yeah.
it's not as bad as you think it is. And
Hmm.
then it turns out you're right. It's not as bad as you think it is. It was worse.
Right.
It's always worse.
Always worse.
Yeah.
You know, and so respecting yourself, having those boundaries, staying to those boundaries for not just people around you, but even for yourself. You know, respect yourself enough. You know, again, back to when I was formulating myself into the kind of husband that I knew I wanted to be. You know, certain things that I was doing because I respected myself and I respected my wife. So I would do things to help build the habits to uphold that.
Yeah.
That was I was saying a lot, but you got to build habits to actually hold up these things. And so and you got to have the right people around you. You know,
Yeah.
it's hard to respect yourself when you got the inner enemy. Sometimes the biggest enemy is the inner me. You got
Inner
that
me.
inner
Yeah.
me, poking at you, stinking thinking. You got other people saying what they got to say. And trust me, if you got an inner enemy critic on the inside, then trust me, your reflection, you got people outside. Because that's what happens. It's just what we feel on the inside is mirrored outside. So if you got that, it's really hard to respect yourself when you criticize yourself. And if other folks got the judgment, you don't know what to do. So you got to put yourself around people who are going to lift you up. That's a good way to keep respect around yourself. Keep people around you that respect you and understand what that is. All right. So there's so many angles to this. But I would tell you, people around you, your environment, I mean, for years they thought it was all about your genetics. For
Mm-hmm.
years they thought, oh, all disease passed through genetics, all behavior through genetics. Like, wait a minute, wait. Over the last 20 years, they figured out this thing called epigenetics, and that sits above the gene. That's really the environment, and based off the environment, that would determine the gene. 95%.
Yeah. And here's what's crazy about that. If you think about it, if I have a cup of water, it's water. And it came from a pitcher of water that came from a stream of water. So we can see the genealogy, the lineage of where this water came, a cup of water. But as soon as I change the environment and I add heat to it, it changes totally. It becomes steam. Or if I cool it down, it becomes an ice cube.
Yeah.
All because of its environment. It's the same thing happens with us. If we get around people who are maybe hot tempered and hot headed,
Yeah.
what's the next thing we're going to do? We're like, yeah, that's right. We're going to do this thing.
Yeah.
But for hanging with people that's cool and laid back, if you're the hot headed one, eventually you see like, okay, this isn't how we get down. So maybe I should start to shift, and you'll be like, just, relax, calm down. So it's very important that you do, like he said, plant your seed in that rightful garden that's going to help you produce the kind of fruit that you want.
Dang, boy. That's good. Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah. I surprised him on that one. He's like, wait, I wasn't looking for that. Let's build on it. And so the last part after respecting yourself, which is very key, I just want to say one thing about respecting yourself before we transition. Respecting yourself also has to do with things like managing your money, right? Mm-hmm. So you can have money coming in and you say, I'm going to just kind of share, be transparent. I used to be that guy who wanted to have the latest and the greatest. I mean, I got the phone in September. The new phone came out in June. I'm trying to get the new phone in June. I'm mad that I got it just in September.
Were you in the line? Would you stand in line?
I never waited in line. I didn't have to do that. I got this thing called favor. So anyways, I don't have to wait in line. But I always had to do this the greatest things, right? I had to do that. But I've seen that I had more things than I had money. I started to realize, I'd rather have that money than I have these things. And then eventually I started to save my money. And then I found that my mind changed to saying not that I want to buy this thing, but the possibilities of what I could buy. I felt the power of my buying power to say, wow, I got 10 grand in the bank. I could buy all these things here. I could buy that car off the lot right now cash. Then I had 20,000, then 30. I could buy this. Now I could say I could buy this house cash. It's so funny. I don't need a loan. I could buy this house cash. That's a different mindset to
Mm-hmm.
have than having all these things to acquire. But I wasn't
Yeah.
respecting myself. I was respecting those things,
Mm-hmm.
and so I needed to respect myself, respect my family, to say, hey, it's a better scenario to have the cushion to say, light bills due, it's on auto pay. That's a much better way of living, because now we're not arguing over did you pay the light bill or why the lights got shut off. We're having a peaceful time. The lights just keep working. I tell kids, my wife leaves the doors open, windows open, and the AC going. She's in the back room where she wants the windows open or whatever, and then we're in the front where it's hot and we need to have the AC. So it's really crazy. But anyways, it's great that we have that possibility, because I didn't spend 10 grand on a TV. I used to
That's
do
dope.
that.
That
Yeah,
is awesome.
respect yourself. But anyways, our next one is reaching outward, making it about others. And this is really key. So once you got to know yourself, you're trusting yourself, you're respecting yourself, the thing that's going to get you through is reaching out and making it about others. Take the me, myself, and I out of the equation and make it we, us, and our.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to help you to stay grounded, to say, I got to trust myself. I got to know myself so I could do well in
Yeah.
this environment, in this team. For we, it's not about me, it's about we, right?
Mm. Yeah, man. I mean, and if you, it's not about me. It's always about we. And all you have to do is turn that upside down. Turn the me upside down. It's right there. So it's not
There you
easy.
go.
You can make the switch. Not that hard. Just flip it around. Sometimes. Flip a few things around. Right.
Yeah.
You know, reach outward. Make it
Tell
about
me to lay
others.
on the back and rest a little bit, right?
Yeah,
Just
that's
rest.
it.
Stop doing so much. There you
Just
go.
doing too much. Take it easy. We work better together. We're stronger together.
Yeah.
And this reach outward and making it about others, like honestly, that's like the code for not just humanity but life,
Yeah.
like creation, like everything coincides and works together.
Coexist. Yes.
You know what I mean? And so when we do this, which is nature, we're acting with like nature. Wait a minute, naturally, that's how we should be.
Mm.
So if we act like we naturally should be, we would operate as nature does, which is perfect. And I can't imagine humanity being perfect, but I can't imagine humanity operating on another level,
Yeah.
whole another level, a lot.
On another level.
You know what I mean? And when you make it about others, that's what happens. When literally, there's Jacqueline Way was on here.
Yeah.
365 Give. That's my girl, man. I met her 3 years ago. She taught me about this dose of happiness. You literally, when you give out a dose of happiness. It's an actual dose, DOSE. And the D is dopamine, O is for oxytocin, the S is the serotonin, and the E is the endorphins. And you get this neurochemical cocktail that just energizes your body, rejuvenizes your immune system,
Yeah.
elongates your life. Did you just get your life expectancy elongated? Yes.
It's full of joy. It's full of peace. It's full of all these great things. The dopamine, the dose.
God.
Yes.
And not only did you get the dose, but the person you gave to gets the dose. We're talking about a dose of happiness that comes
Yeah.
from when you give. You get the dose that comes through you. The person you give gets that dose of, and the people watching, I get a dose. They get a dose. They get a dose. We all
It's
get a dose.
contagious. Yeah.
Oh,
It's the great thing to catch, right? That
yeah.
joy.
Good, man.
I'm gonna tell you reaching outward and connect and making it about others. When you connect with others, you know, we have two hands. Most of us have two hands, right? Kind of born that way. And when we do something, think about how hard it is to kind of lift something with one hand, like a bag of groceries or just, anything that's kind of heavy. It's very challenging. But when you add that extra arm, you can lift that and not even double, but triple or sometimes 4 times what that was the weight of that. It might be hard to lift 50 pounds with one hand, but I could lift 200 pounds with two hands.
Right.
Because now I'm putting my hands in it, but I'm putting my arms, my back, and all these other things that join in that weren't really able to come in when I had my hands there.
They weren't able to come in.
Right. And so we see that as we start to connect with other people, there's other factors that join in that we don't know is working together.
We didn't know.
Making it better, making it stronger. There is a verse in the Bible that says that two could put one could put 1,000 enemies to flight to running, but two could put 10,000. The multiplication of when you add somebody in there. So I got my two hands. Now one is going to wash this one, and this hand's going to wash the other. So they each wash each other. But together, these hands wash my whole entire body. That's a
Mm.
bigger task than just washing a hand.
Yep.
Together, they take care of the whole body.
Dang.
Have you ever tried to climb a flight of stairs hopping on one leg? That's going to be challenging. It's going to be very hard. You might not make it all the way up to the top. But if we use both legs and we alternate, we can climb to the top of any staircase, to the Eiffel Tower if we wanted to. It might take us a while, but we can go longer and have a longer longevity.
Climb Mount Everest, man.
Mount Everest, right? When you put it all together, when you put your hands and your feet, the more that we can connect with others, the further we can grow, the more we can do, and it's less taxing on us. And see, the power is just that coming together. It's bringing those things into harmony and to cooperate and to work together. And that's what we need to do with me, myself, and I, bringing those things in alignment to work together so that my mind is in one place, my emotions are another place, my spirit is one way, and my body says, I'm tired of it all. We have to figure out a way that they all get there, because if we tax our body too much, then it's going to be like walking up those stairs with one leg. It's going to just drain us out. We're going to be too fatigued. If we're always in a mind state of always thinking about this, thinking about that, we're not going to be able to connect with the body to be mobilized. So we're going to be stagnant doing nothing. We have to learn to balance these things out, to spread them out, the me, myself, and I, the mind, body, spirit, and emotion. I think a lot of people don't connect the emotion there, but the emotion is a totally different, part of our bodies. It's not a spiritual thing. It's not a body thing. Even though you say, I feel this way, it's not really a feeling as far as your skin touches. But we know that in our body, how we connect with something or interact with something is we touch it, right?
Yeah.
We touch this and that. So that you feel that sensation. Your emotions are still doing the same thing. They're connecting in a certain way, and you feel the pressure of I'm happy or I'm angry or I'm scared. But those are still just a sensory perception. Your mind is still calculating those things. We got to find a balance in these things, so we're not always leaning to one side, or you got one leg longer than the other, and they call you Eileen. No, you don't want to do that. Hey, you want to have that balance,
pork
right?
and beans. Eileen. Pork and beans.
So we want to recap. We want to do self-awareness, just getting to be aware of your actions and what you do. And then you start to know yourself and know why you do that. How can you prevent it? How can you govern yourself better? Once you find that balance, you trust yourself. And beyond trusting yourself, now that you trust yourself, you can respect yourself, honor yourself. And then once you got yourself mastered, we want to start to reach out to others and bring those benefits of this person now that's holistic and made one. You see, there's no war when we're one. Ooh.
Yeah.
Right? You want to become one, then the battle's over. You won.
Yep.
So then we want to reach out to others to connect with them and make it stronger.
Wait a minute, dude. When we're one, that's how you won. There's no war that's how we won. When we're one, there's no war when we're one. That's how we won. That's a really interesting selection of words
right there, buddy. Yeah, I know, that's good stuff. So
that's serious though.
It is.
Because how you gonna sometimes we got the war on ourselves, so but that's different. From what we're talking about, when we're united, man, we got a better understanding. So yeah.
And when your heart, mind, and body all agree, you're going to be able to achieve anything. When you have it in all of your being that you're going to do this thing, your body wakes up at 5 a.m. You don't even need an alarm. You're ready to go. Your brain's already engaged. You're ready to go. Like everything's moving. You're energized in your heart and spirit, and everything's just on it. This is how you win championships. This is how you become a rookie of the year and win the MVP in the NFL, because every part of you was about that, and you knew it since you were 10. Like that's the thing. You got to kind of come to oneness, and you can achieve anything. A lot of times we have a willingness of heart, but it may be in spirit, but our mind just says, I don't think I can do that. I don't see how I can do that. Just go for it, right? So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to give you some tips on how to do better at reaching oneness with yourself. And later on, we're going to do an exercise. It's kind of a meditation, a self-awareness exercise. You're going to not want to miss that. Make sure you share this out right now so folks can be a part of that. That's going to change your life. But we're going to be right back, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and make sure you connect with other folks. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, folks. Thank you for watching. Today's show is this is Mindset Ready Grow, and today's show, our mindset is me, myself, and I. Is it the perfect partnership or the perfect storm? And we're talking about becoming one with yourself, becoming self-aware. And before the break, we went over those self-awareness, knowing yourself, trusting yourself, and that leads to respecting yourself. And once you become whole in self, you want to reach out and make it about others, connecting with others to grow you. You know, if you think about this, I think me and my son were talking. We're talking. He's 19. He's trying to discover what's the point of his life. He's in college. What does it all mean? And I said, there's a couple of things that we do. You know, we need to grow, right? So we need to grow, and in that growing, it's about developing your creativity, right? So once we grow to a point, and then there's something that we produce, like a fruit. So we're sowing seeds in ourselves right now with this mindset ready grow. These techniques we're giving you, these are seeds that are coming into you, and hopefully they start to grow. And then as they grow, they're going to produce fruit, which is the creativity that you have, that you take this to another level and implement these things in your life or share them with others. And as you do so, this is the part of connecting and making it about others that you grow. But first, you have to grow inwardly before you can have any fruit to produce, to sow. And this is the techniques that we're giving you here. So the next thing we're going to talk about is some techniques that can help you to develop these processes, to become more self-aware, to become more knowledgeable of yourself and trusting yourself. And the first one is write down your goals, plans, and priorities, right? So you want to write down, what is it that makes you tick? What do you dream about? What is it that you would love to do with your life? How do you see yourself achieving those things? It could be something as small as, I want to leave this 1-bedroom apartment and move into a 2-bedroom apartment, or I want to buy a house someday, or I want to have my degree in such and such and things. So what are those plans and goals? And then write down, what's the priority of your life? It can't be waking up, going to work, come home, going to sleep, pay the bills, go to work, come home, go to sleep, like the same thing every day. There's more to you and there's more to life. What is the priority? And it may be eliminating things. We take away what's kind of boxing us in. I got to be to work at this time. I get off at this time, and say, if I didn't have to do that, I would love to travel. Well, make that a priority, because if it's something that speaks to you on the inside and it makes you fulfilled to who you are, say, I'm going to work this job and I'm not going to miss a single day, and I'm going to take every overtime I can, and I'm going to have a smile on my face because I know that every dollar I calculate is going to fund my trip that I'm taking in 5 years. And I'm going to be gone for a whole year. I'm going to travel for 5 countries for the whole year and come back, and I'll start over and do something else. But I fulfilled that thing that I really wanted to do. Maybe it's what I want to continue to do, so I find some way of working that way or something or whatever. But make your priorities, write your plans and your goals down.
That's good, man. That's good. And as you write your goals down, it starts to rejuvenate yourself. It'll start to motivate you. Writing your goals down and your dreams, plans. It number one, the moment you write it down, you're 50% more likely to do it. It's like 50 to 80.
Yeah,
wide range, but you double your possibility of actually doing it. So let's think about it. If you're whatever that goal is, write it down. Now you've moved yourself closer to it. That's easy. Now you want to move it even closer to it. The moment you write it down, do it.
Or do something towards that goal.
Something towards that goal.
If it says I'm going to save my money to buy a house, as soon as you write that goal down, go into your bank account, create a separate savings or something, and put $1 in there. Even just $1.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Take it the action step. Because what
from here, that's imagination, to physical. It's here. You can share that with other people.
Yep.
And then you put an action on it.
Yep.
That's like taking and digging a hole in the ground, put a seed in it, covering it back up.
Yeah, exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're writing it. You're writing the goal deeper into your subconscious as well. Because the moment you wrote it down, you had it, and you wrote it down, and you took a step. All those actions are actually now just writing it deeper into your memory, into your subconscious, which is, you want that, because that's how we build habits. And everybody wants good habits.
Yeah.
So if you write your goals down, make plans, and prioritizing is big. I tell you why it's huge. You can make a to-do list that can be like a scroll that will go out of the door, right? And so what? So now you're running around, we got a hamster in there. He runs on a wheel. Like, that joker gets like 5,000 steps a day. He doesn't even go anywhere. Okay,
Nowhere.
nowhere. You don't do that. Okay,
And he's still chubby.
he's still. You're not losing any weight, man. This is not. I don't understand what you're doing, but enjoy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got 3 years to live. Do it. Live it up, buddy. But for us, we got all this time. We got to do better.
Yeah.
Prioritizing the list, it's going to put you in a position not to be that hamster, because you don't need to do X, Y, and Z. What you want to do is you want to figure out what are the top 3 things. What are the number one top 3 things that can move my life forward? What are the number one top 3, 1, 2, and 3? What are the top 3 things that I could do today that will move me forward on this particular goal? Prioritizing, man. And when you do it this way, oh my goodness, it starts to get fun. Brian Tracy has a book called Eat the Frog. Basically, eat the frog means like doing the hardest, nastiest thing first. Eat it. Get it out of the way. Ribbit.
Hard-boiled frog.
Did it. But you know what? Now it's done, baby.
That was done.
That was done. And now you got all this time. And all this time. You can it's amazing how much the procrastination and not prioritizing, how much time we waste. And when we do prioritize, how much time we actually get.
You know, that's really powerful stuff, man. And I think a lot of folks can benefit from that. Like, you know, the hardest thing that's for you to do, it's usually the most beneficial thing for you as well. So if you're like, it's so hard for me to get up every day and work out before I go to work, if you start doing that, it's going to be way beneficial on a level of, you know, obviously getting you into better shape, but then your day through work, you're happier, you've released the right chemicals in your body, you feel great. You're next thing you know, you're walking around, hey Susie, how's it going? You're happy. And they're like, what's gotten into you? Like, I don't know, I just feel good today. And even though you got up at 5 a.m., even though you didn't get to go to sleep till 12 o'clock because so much work was piled up or whatever, you're going to still feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And so push through those things. But again, write down your goals, plans, and priorities. This is what we want you to do first. Then what you want to do is you want to keep a journal or a thought or idea book. The journal is to continually write down the progress you've made on these goals, plans, and priorities. And if you look, you say, today, you know, I went to this place and I got this book and I'm going to read it and so on and forth. And then you can go back and look over that a month from now, 6 months from now, and say, wow, you know, I did really well here, but not right here. I wonder what happened. Oh, it was the summer. Oh, and I, you know, then my family comes down and we do these things. Oh, okay, I see. So that's a distracting time. So now when it started, you can now start to manage and navigate that and say, when that time comes, I need to do this, this, and this. Keep a journal. How well am I doing that? It's a system of tracking, keeping accountability to yourself, because remember, we want to be able to trust ourselves. So we have to have a way of keeping even accountability to ourselves. We can't rely on others to tell us we're wrong or messed up or jacked up. They will. And it's cool that we have friends that love us enough and trust us enough to give us that input, whether it's your wife or your husband or whatever. But we need to be able to keep that on ourselves. And the second part of that is your thought or idea book. And this is just random thoughts. Like, wouldn't it be cool if you could fly like a bird, this and that? It might sound like a dumb thought, but keep that, because maybe you'll think about it again and say, you know what? You can't do that if you do this and that. Next thing you know, you've invented something.
Yep.
You had an idea about a movie, and then you see Netflix is running a competition on submit your scripts, and you're like, I got this. What about this? And boom, you just made $10 million off a movie, and they want you to make part 2 and part 3.
There it is.
So write those things down, because they're in the inside of you for some reason.
You have to listen to them. They're in you for a reason. There's something in you that's not in someone else. There's something in you that's in nobody else. There's something inside of you that's inside nobody else and won't be inside anyone else. Let me tell you something. Every person is, if you ever think you're not significant, you're not unique, I want you to know how significant you really are. Your DNA is so specific, so unique. There's never been any hair like yours. No strand, no DNA like yours ever before, or there won't be any after. You're unique. There'll never be another you. Only you can be you. You're you. So if you believe in you and go all in on you, that's how all of you can come out. Go back to that last thing that was up there. That last phrase that was up there. You know, and so thank you. The way that you really can do that is by keeping the thoughts about you and reflecting on you.
Yeah.
You know, it's super important, because, you know, what you can monitor, you can measure. What you can measure, you can improve.
Yes, you can adjust.
You can adjust.
Yeah.
And then through those adjustments and through your improvements, now you can teach. Come on,
There you go.
body.
Mm.
Teach somebody, ready. Miss teach somebody.
Yes,
Teach,
sir.
man. I believe that's really the answer for life, man. It's like love yourself, learn, grow, teach.
Yeah, you always. That's. I mean, think about this. Everything on this planet comes from something, a seed somewhere. Every animal was an egg or something. Every human being came from an egg, fertilized, and fruits or seeds.
Mm-hmm.
So the seed starts it. It's something really small, but then eventually it grows, and that's what we need to do. We grow. We were babies, and then we
Yep.
grew into these humans, and so on and forth. But it does us no good if we don't produce any fruit. And
Right.
the fruit is the things that we've acquired over our lifetime, the lessons we've learned, the abilities and things we have. We share those with others, and you're going to do that no matter what. And to prove it, this is at some point in time today, you're going to do something for somebody else. If it's just giving them a drink of water, making some food, doing something, you're going to do something for somebody else. Maybe it's at your job and they pay you to put some data points inside of a computer, but you're doing that for them. It's to their benefit, to their aid, to service them. That's how we were designed, is to serve.
Yep.
Even if we self-serve ourselves, we can't do that continuously because we got to breathe out. Guess
Yep.
what I just did? I serviced the trees. They're going to
Service
take that
first.
carbon and turn it into something that makes them live. So
Yep.
we're always going to be in service to something else,
Dang, dude.
right? So watch this. So in that situation, that's the purpose of your life, is to take what's coming into you, what's a part of you, and to give it to others,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
so this is the growth and it producing the fruit. He's talking about teaching what you learned. You share that with other people. Like we're taking the things that we've accumulated over life and we're sharing it with you. This is good food. Eat
Yeah.
it, absorb it. Listen, even some fruit that doesn't get picked and ate, it falls to the ground. Guess what it does though? It fertilizes the soil so the tree can have more nutrients to grow off of itself. This is where you
Mm-hmm.
self-neutralize. You
Yeah.
read and you study and you get things to feed yourself. But it's all to the point of that you have something that others can come and pick from and take from, and so those seeds can grow. An apple will, I mean, a deer eat the apple and take the seed somewhere, and it drops its scat, and then there's another apple 20 miles away because it carried the seed. You
Dang.
got to carry these seeds, guys.
Gotta carry them. Gotta carry them. I like that, man. I like that.
Yes, sir. So the last part about this, now after we've went through our steps of knowing ourselves, we reached outward. Now we're writing down goals and plans and ideas, and then we're keeping a journal. Let me say something else about the journal too. The journal can go and say, today this interaction with my best friend was this and this and that, and I felt this way. You might not be able to tell them or tell anybody else, but you can tell your journal, I truly honestly felt this way.
Mm-hmm.
And then you maybe put a question mark and say why, and then say revisit in 2 weeks, right? Maybe you set up a thing, hey Siri, tell me to revisit my journal in 2 weeks. Go back and look at that and say, wow, now that I have 2 weeks think about that, I found that this is the reason why I felt that way. Here's the answer. Write the answer in that. Oh, I found the answer on March 15th, 2020. This was the reason why I felt that way, and here's how I'm overcoming that. This
Mm-hmm.
is all about your self-discovery. You should always be going through self-discovery in a
That's good.
positive way, not in a negative way. Say, oh, I
Right.
suck. I did wrong there. Nobody likes me. That's wrong. That's not self-discovery. That's self-abuse. That's self-condemnation. That's putting yourself in a box. You're meant to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, grow, 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 grow. You get bigger, taller, stronger. That's what you do. That's the purpose
Mm-hmm.
of your life, to give to others, to source to others, to service
Mm-hmm.
others. So remember that, guys. So that's why we want to journal, so we
Good.
can keep track of that and see that and keep our thought ideas to see the possibilities. Now we're going to talk more about those thoughts and ideas here in just the next segment, which is meditation, prayer, and future projection. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and touch base on meditation and prayer. I'm gonna take future projection. Okay.
Yeah, meditation and prayer, it's you have 43 over 4,300 uh religions,
Hmm.
you know, and there's there's six main philosophies. I looked them up today actually because I taught a class. And you know, the one of the greatest things that you can get from the religions that are good, not the ones that are talking about hurting people or doing weird stuff. Talking about like
Yeah.
religions of faith, of goodness and kindness and all that stuff. They all speak to that time alone. Meditation, prayer. Prayer is our conversation to God. Now, the word God was created in the 5th century. Before that was called gold died. Before that, people just spoke. We didn't really have words. But we all went up. We went out, and it was a conversation to a higher power because we knew that we didn't do this around us. There has to be
Yeah.
something greater. Meditation is a settling of the mind, releasing of the thoughts. 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, 60 to 70,000 cars on the highway of your mind. Meditation
Slow.
removes all the
Yeah.
cars off
Whoa.
the highway. Now you're on the highway walking on there, like, yeah, it's nice. You can think, you can breathe. And so it's good to do both. It's good to just cleanse yourself. And meditation, you can work in different ways. Sometimes you can laser focus in on a thing. Like I'm meditating on houses. I'm thinking about 3D printing homes, and I'm going to purchase, all this land, and I've already seen it just get done. Somebody for 110 million. Someone got put 224 people into homes, 3D printed, 110 million, 120 million dollars. And I was like, so I'll just think about houses, and I'll think about buying the land, and I see the acres, and I see the 3D printing machine. I see the people in the red carpet with the velvet ropes, lined up to get their keys while there's a cookouts, and I'm envisioning it. And that's a meditation. I'm zeroing in.
Yeah.
And it's also a prayer because of my thought. Because my thought for that whole process is people get homes. Hello? People get
Yeah.
food and resources. And so they're powerful. They're super powerful. They increase your well-being. They increase your well-being. It's the human condition and understanding that there is something greater has become imperative to us.
Yeah.
And so taking that time to just be still, not necessarily listen to everything everyone is saying, take it into consideration, but then be still long enough to make that your own discernment. That's what I feel about meditation and prayer. They coincide to me. I
Yeah.
do both, but they're powerful tools.
Absolutely. And it goes back to the kind of point five, which was reaching outward. In the meditation, you're reaching outward. If it's to God in prayer, or if it's to, your future activities or yourself. And that's kind of what future projection is. And this is where we're going to take a moment to do a quick little exercise, folks. So if you're tuned in right now, I want you guys to, hopefully it's quiet in your space, but we're going to do a little exercise in future projection. And so future projection is basically, you can do this where you can say, I'm starting a new job. So I'm going to kind of, let's watch the movie before we, read the book, right? So I'm going to watch the movie. I'm going to see how this job progresses in a year, 5 years, 10 years. What do I do? Do I see myself retiring from this job or whatever? And that's what we're going to do. And so I've done this with my children. I do this myself. So what I want you to do is just kind of, close your eyes for a moment and just kind of relax. This is the first process of meditation. And you should do this with prayer. A lot of people just go right into prayer and whatever that might be, and they just start talking, but you should have a moment where you center yourself and just find your own peace, that you're not coming out of a place of aggression or need or fear or scarcity or whatever. It's just, I'm in this place, I'm content, there's nothing I need, and I'm just wanting to receive what's available to me. So get to your place of peace, close your eyes, and breathe in and breathe out, and just focus on your breathing in, out, listening to the sound of your breath in and out till you start to feel your neck relaxing, your shoulders are relaxing, your body starts to relax, you feel really comfortable and at peace within yourself. Now you're connecting with yourself, you're becoming one with yourself. So in that moment, whatever's challenging you right now, if it's that you're entering into a relationship, a job, if you're young and you're thinking about what should I do as a career, whatever that might be, I want you to go to the end of that thing. So go 20, 30, 40, 50 years out. And I want you to just kind of let those visualizations come to you. What does that space look like? What's happening there? Who's connected to you? Are your kids there? Is your husband or your wife there? Are your friends there? Who's in that place? What do you look like? What does your house look like? Or wherever you are, what's the venue? And take note of these things, right? Reflecting on every detail you can. Is it sunrise, sunset? Get all the details you can. Still continue to breathe in and out. Stay relaxed. Stay in that place. And then look at those details and how they manifested. Maybe you're not married, but your spouse is there, and start to remember them as if you're in that year, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. Remember when you met them 10 years ago. Think about that situation and how that came about, and reflecting as if it were a memory. I remember when I first saw their face, or how we met. These things, these details help make that future projection more solidified, more real. It has more of a foundation. And then start to think about the why. Why are these things that way? How did they become that way? Right. And so as we do these exercises, it helps to bring the things that's really inside you out forward. Some artists do this exercise and then they paint what they see. Now they've made it real. And so you can do the same thing. You can come back and you can take these future projections and you write them down in your journals. You write them down in your thought books. I had a thought that at the end of this job, it's going to be this way, and this way. How do you feel about that? Was that good? Was that bad? Are your thoughts based off of fear, off of hope? Where are you coming from? What place are you coming from? It all ties it back into becoming self-aware, knowing yourself, trusting yourself, respecting yourself. Right? We want to do all these things. Meditation and prayer in that centered space. When I did this with my daughter, she was 17 or 18. She was getting ready to finish school, and I said, "Okay, let's talk about school. What do you want to do?" She wasn't really sure. Let's do this future projection. She went to a place where she was about 60 some years old. She said her son and her daughter came in. Her son didn't have any children. The daughter had two kids. Her husband had passed away, but they'd been married for 30 years. He was a retired police officer, and she was getting an award for something she had done. And they were in her home, and it was near the beach, and there was a bunch of trees around her house, and it was very vivid. And she, then we said, when did you meet your husband? And she said she met him when she was 21. She was painting, and her paintings were in an art gallery. He came in and he bought a painting, and they hit it off. And very vivid detail of what things were going on. And so the evidence of that was okay. So her hopes and her dreams was inside of her is that she really wants to do something with art. She wants to paint, and she likes family, but she doesn't need to have a big family. So just two children, and they have two children. So that's a modest family. And that she's looking for a husband, but really she's looking for a husband that provides safety because he was a cop. So he was a police officer. So she's looking for somebody to come in and be safety for her. So when you explore these ideas, now you can get to some roots and say, okay, now we can talk about what is this thing of safety? Is it her connection to her father or something, or just having a figure in her life that kind of gave her that safety and she wants that to continue? What is this artistic creativity that she has, and what's the motivation there? And is she pursuing that even now? She can keep track of that and say, I had this vision and it spoke to me, felt good about that life. It was a happy life. Am I painting? Am I pursuing that educational wise? Am I doing these things? Keeping those things on track. Now, her being 60 years old and retiring and the children, that's not really in her control, but it shows that, she's kind of has a connection to family, but not to where it's like, I need to have a bunch of kids around me. It's just enough people to have me so I'm not alone type of thing. Does that make sense?
Oh
So
yeah.
it's really powerful. It's
Yeah.
really powerful to do these exercises. Go
Man.
back and watch this again if you guys have any questions.
Man, that's it. Paint
Yeah.
a picture. Beautiful way to live mindfully. Yeah, man. We call it visioneering too. Got a vision for the future.
Yeah.
Visioneering. That's how you engineer your future. Think about it. You put those future projections together. Best way. What did somebody say? The best way to predict the future is to create it. Hey, I think that was either Albert Einstein or Walt Disney. One of those geniuses. Yeah, man. That's it. That's
And
it.
we are right. We are meant to create, right?
Jacqueline Way. She knows Jacqueline Way. Hey, Rhonda. Okay, Jacqueline Way is the one. She is the one, man. So meditation, prayer, and future projections, baby. Me,
So
myself, and I.
yeah, once we do all these things, we should find that we're able to manage our life, manage ourselves, and manage our relationships, in a better way and more efficiently, right? And we should be more productive in our life. Exercising self-awareness, knowing yourself, trusting yourself, respecting yourself, reaching outward to make it about others, not just ourselves. And then as a way of perfecting this, we write down goals, plans, and priorities, keep a journal, our thought idea, and then have prayer, meditation, and future projection, and write these things back down into our thoughts, idea books, and journals. And the journal and stuff again is just a way of keeping track of day-to-day progress. Keep it on your phone, put it in a sticky pad, put it into an Evernote or something, and really keep track of what you're doing, how you're progressing mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally, becoming whole and one with yourself.
Yeah.
You're going to find you'll be more successful in everything. Don't forget to click and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you can be notified. We do a lot to push the show out. We try to send out messages and texts and things, but if you guys subscribe and hit the bell, you're gonna not miss out on some great content. We've had great guests like Jacqueline Way. Last week we had Danny and Omar on here, and they were talking about a billionaire who wanted to give back to the community. So they took and downloaded his mindset and made it into a program. I actually subscribed to it. I love what they've done there. It's really good.
Pretty incredible, man.
Subscribe to. It's only $1, so that's really awesome. You can get the knowledge of a billionaire,
Yeah.
his successful thinking, his mindset of success.
Yeah.
So great guest that's coming on the show, and we got more still to come. So you're gonna want to subscribe and hit that bell. If you like today's show, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you guys want to reach out to us, make sure you can connect with us on all our social media platforms. You can also just send us the where's that at? You can where's it at?
Mindset Ready.
Mindset Ready Grow. You can send us an email at mindsetreadygrow@gmail.com.
That's it. Mindset Ready Grow.
That's it.
Get your mindset ready to know. You can go anywhere you want to go. Just make sure you don't block your flow. If you put the right seeds in your mind, that's how you'll grow. Get around the right people, that's how you'll glow. You don't know what you don't know, so get around folks who know more than you know. Wait a minute now. What are you talking about? I'm saying you don't know what you don't know, so get around folks who know more than you know, and that's how you'll grow. Yo, Joe.
I got the knowing is half the battle, right?
Hey, no, it's half the battle.
It's half the battle. Yes, sir. I want to thank all the people who watched today. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in week after week. Those people that are supporting us. If you guys want to support us, you guys can check us out over on our Patreon account. You guys can buy merch. You can get, we do one-on-one sessions and things that we offer there. Even some of our guests will stick around and do some one-on-one sessions, or we have certain promotions to, get you access to things that our partners are offering. So make sure you check that out. Go to our Patreon, www.patreon.com/mindsetreadygrow. And thank you guys again. We'll see you guys at the same time next week.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Yeah, thank you, Rhonda, for coming and joining us. And thank you, Darlene. She's here every week. And
hey, Darlene.
And a few others. Thank you guys for coming in every week and watching the show. Definitely appreciate that. Make sure you share this stuff out with folks, even after the live is over, because this knowledge is here now. It's out there. It's in the ether. So people can watch this again and again, and they can learn from this. I think this show is really a good show. People need to get these things in their spirit, in their mind, getting those things in alignment. You'll be able to achieve so many new things. And we're going to do a show coming up, and we're just going to talk about, the goodness that people have achieved by getting their mindset. We're going to have some millionaires, some billionaires, some people who are struggling to get there. And we're going to put all those things together. You like the millionaires, the billionaires, and people struggling to get there.
I like that. Yeah. Hey.
And we're going to have them all talk about some of the things that they've achieved and what they've done, things they didn't expect they could do, like climbing Mount Everest with half an oxygen tank and just whatever. So you're not going to miss that. That's coming up in June, and more guests to come. So thank you guys for all watching. Rob, I'll let you sign us off.
Hey, listen, it's Mindset Ready Grow. I mean, our goal is to grow every day. Every day. All right. Find a way to grow. Find a way to grow, because by doing so, you'll better yourself. And the best thing, the first place I would think about is here, because this controls everything that you do. And sometimes we don't know how we're being impacted and influenced by this. So listen to the show. Take notes when you can. Take action when you can. Surround yourself with the people you need to. And listen, consistency is the mother of mastery. So let's master growth.
And you've already connected with two good people right here, myself and Rob House. Everything we have, we love to share. So what we can't share, it's already yours. It's already on the plate. Just eat up and enjoy.
Eat up.
Until next week, guys, thanks. Get your mindset ready to grow. See you next week.